In a resounding display of solidarity amid mounting outrage, foreign ministers from 7 leading Muslim nations convened in Istanbul today to denounce Israel's brazen violations of the fragile Gaza ceasefire, demanding an unequivocal withdrawal of occupation forces from Palestinian lands. The emergency coordination meeting of Arab Islamic foreign ministers, hosted by Turkey, exposed the stark hypocrisy of Israel's actions. Unilateral bombardments that have shattered the truce brokered just weeks ago, claiming civilian lives and edging the region toward renewed catastrophe. As the death toll from these aggressions climbs, with over 100 Palestinians killed in recent strikes alone, the international community faces a moral imperative. Will it enable Israel's pattern of impunity, or finally enforce accountability? The ceasefire, inked on October 9th between Hamas and Israel as the inaugural phase of US President Donald Trump's ambitious peace initiative, promised prisoner exchanges and a halt to the devastating Israeli onslaught that has ravaged Gaza for 2 grueling years. Pakistan, alongside Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Jordan, the very coalition that collaborated with Trump during UN General Assembly sidelines talks on September 23rd, now stands united in condemnation. These nations, instrumental in forging the agreement, have witnessed Israel's repeated sabotage, airstrikes disguised as responses to fabricated provocations, blockades choking humanitarian aid, and a refusal to vacate even a single inch of occupied territory. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar of Pakistan, speaking for the group, lambasted these flagrant violations as a direct assault on global peace efforts, reaffirming Islamabad's unwavering commitment to a sovereign Palestinian state on pre-1967 borders, with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its eternal capital, in full alignment with United Nations and Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, resolutions. This gathering transcends rhetoric. It signals a pivotal juncture where Muslim countries are charting a defiant path forward, prioritizing Palestinian self-determination over external impositions. Turkey, having orchestrated the now teetering 3-week-old truce, emerged as the vanguard, with Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan issuing a stark warning. We've now reached an extremely critical stage. We do not want the genocide in Gaza to resume. Fidan, fresh from weekend consultations with Hamas chief negotiator Khalil al-Hayya, revealed the movement's readiness to entrust Gaza's governance to a Palestinian-led committee, underscoring a commitment to inter-Palestinian reconciliation with the West Bank-based Palestinian Authority. Palestinians should govern Palestinians and ensure their own security, Fidan declared, rejecting any new system of tutelage that could perpetuate foreign domination. Echoing this resolve, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan asserted that Hamas remains quite determined to uphold the truce, while emphasizing the OIC's indispensable role in Gaza's reconstruction, a blueprint unveiled in March by the Arab League and OIC to rebuild what Israeli aggression has systematically demolished. Yet Israel's obstructions cast a long shadow. Ankara's disaster relief teams, dispatched to aid in recovering remains from rubble, including those of Israeli captives held by Hamas, languish at the border, denied entry in a move that exemplifies Tel Aviv's contempt for humanitarian norms and its visceral opposition to Turkey's involvement, fueled by Ankara's principled ties to Palestinian resistance. Such tactics not only prolong suffering, but also undermine the emerging international stabilization force, envisioned under Trump's framework to monitor the ceasefire post-withdrawal. Fidan stressed the imperative of a UN Security Council resolution to legitimize the ISF, free from vetoes by Israel's staunchest allies, chief among them Washington, insisting that troop commitments from Muslim nations hinge on a mandate safeguarding Palestinian sovereignty. As the dust settles from today's deliberations, the onus shifts decisively to Muslim countries. What concrete measures will they deploy to fortify the ceasefire and reclaim Gaza's destiny? Experts at DRM News foresee a multifaceted strategy unfolding with urgency. First, diplomatic escalation through the OIC and Arab League to enforce the March Reconstruction Plan, channeling billions in economic aid directly to Palestinian institutions while bypassing Israeli gatekeepers, potentially mobilizing Qatar's mediation prowess and Saudi Arabia's financial heft to fund immediate infrastructure revival. Second, A unified push at the UN for binding resolutions mandating Israel's withdrawal and ISF deployment, leveraging Indonesia and Pakistan's moral authority to rally Global South support and isolate veto-wielding powers. Third, bolstering inter-Palestinian unity via Turkey-brokered talks, empowering a unified front to negotiate security and governance without concessions to occupation. Institutionally, these nations could pledge personnel to the ISF under strict UN oversight, ensuring no repeat of past failures. Economically, joint ventures, such as Jordan's border stabilization expertise paired with UAE's tech investments, could seed sustainable development, transforming Gaza from a theatre of war into a beacon of resilience. The joint communiqué from Istanbul crystallized this vision. Urgent humanitarian corridors for famine-stricken Gaza, unyielding condemnation of Israeli encroachments, and an ironclad demand for rebuilding under Palestinian stewardship. As Fidan poignantly noted, nobody wants to see a new system of tutelage emerge, a veiled rebuke to schemes that would entrench subjugation under guises of stability. For the Ummah and the world, the message is unequivocal. The time for passive diplomacy has ended. Muslim nations must wield their collective influence, not merely to pause the bloodshed, but to dismantle the architecture of oppression, paving the way for a free Palestine. DRM News will track these developments with unwavering scrutiny, delivering on-the-ground insights and analysis. The fragile threads of peace hang in the balance. Will unity prevail over aggression? Stay informed as history pivots on the actions of the resolute few.